right, good morning. Welcome, everybody. We'll get started here shortly. The format for today, we're going to have Troy Dannon, our athletic director, introduce Coach, have a little presentation. Then we'll have an opening statement from Coach Fisch, and then we'll get to a Q&A with the press. With no time like the present, let's get going. Here's Troy Dannon, Director of Athletics.
Good morning. It is a great day when we get introduced to the 31st head coach in a 134-year history of Husky football. Before I get started, I have several thank yous. I want to make. I want to start with our players and our staff, the football staff. You know, the last week they haven't even had a chance to celebrate a national championship game appearance, and you know we met with a team. They've been awesome, absolutely unbelievable. And I had about 20 of them that I've had a chance to talk to, and they told me what they thought they wanted and what we thought we needed. And I think we have the personification of that in Jedd, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I just want to thank them because their class, their character, you know, they represent us so well all the time. But this last week has really proven what we have in our student athletes and our staff here. So I want to thank them first and foremost. I want to thank Ashley and Kendall sitting down here, the Fisch family daughters. Zaylee's not here, but I want to thank them because, and I just went through it myself, them agreeing to come. Thank you. And one of my lasting memories of this whole process is going to be on the plane coming back up here from Tucson, and them texting with members of the team and with the coaching staff and the relationships they have with the team and the coaching staff. I thought, this is pretty cool. You know, you want your family, this whole thing is a family, but you want your family to be a part of the family, and that's a really neat thing you have. I want to thank Amber, the First Lady of Husky football, and this is a true story. We did not offer the job to Jedd. We offered Amber the opportunity to be First Lady of Husky football. And then we asked her who she would bring with her. And she chose Jedd, which is good for both of us, I think.
Yes.
So, Amber, thank you so much. I want to thank Jedd, and I've done this over and over again. Jedd, I just want to thank you for accepting the offer. We'll talk more about this later, but couldn't be happier and couldn't be more thrilled. I want to thank President Anamari Kause. You know, I've been here, I think, 108 days. Her personal support this whole way has just been remarkable. You know, as an AD, you know, your partnership with your president defines whether it works or it doesn't work, and I really appreciate the partnership. But more so, her support of athletics and the things we've needed to do, not just in the last few days, but really over the last few weeks, to keep this program at the point at which it is. Just can't thank you enough, the Board of Regents, and all that you've done to lead this university and this program. I want to thank Chris Pete. Chris isn't here. I think he's with his father today, but you know, Chris has become a confidant for me. And as everything started to happen, the ability to lean on him and pick his brain, I just think he's one of the greatest, not football minds, but really one of the greatest human beings that I've ever come across. And I want to thank Coach. I hope he's watching someplace. I had an internal search committee, mention them, thank them. Haven Field sitting in the back, who's a deputy athletic director who will oversee football on a day-to-day basis. Haven technically has not started yet. He's due here February 1st. We've gotten about 8 days of unpaid work out of Haven, so I appreciate you, my friend. Good to have you. Damon Heward, wherever Damon is. Damon's been a great asset in our department, really helped me and understand the program as an alum, as a community member, you know, the things that I don't understand yet. So Damon's role in this was invaluable. And Aaron Knotts. Aaron has served as football chief of staff here. Intimately knows how this program works, and those three guys in helping sell Jedd on this job. I think Aaron was on the phone maybe about 11 o'clock Saturday night, trying to go through budgets and numbers and helping me convince Coach to come here. So I really appreciate all the work you put in. And I want to thank a lot of staff members too, because after the run we were just on, we had a lot of folks go on vacation. We had a lot of folks take some time off. We had people come back from vacation. We had people give up their vacation days, give up time away from their family to come back over the last 4 days. It's been crazy. And it's not just the hiring, it's getting this ready. It's getting the transitions ready. It's the HR stuff. So we just have an amazing staff here at UW. And I'm going to make one final shout out to my own family who is not here. But my wife called me this morning. She said, I heard from you since last Thursday. Are you alive? And so hopefully they are watching, because one of the things when you get into this search, you go underground and you don't come back out. And so I haven't had a chance to talk to my family for a few days, so appreciate and hopefully they're watching. Now, it is true that ADs have this list, and it doesn't sit in your desk drawer because somebody will find it. But they have this list of people if you ever have to go hire a coach. And obviously my list 100 days ago was what would happen in a different school. And so we put together that list fairly quickly here. And last Thursday, we really started to coalesce that list down to about 10 individuals. I'll tell you what we wanted. We wanted a recruiter. And not just somebody who knew they had to recruit, but somebody who was maniacal about it, who just absolutely loved to recruit and was going to put a staff together that loved to recruit. And I could say this after every characteristic: recruiting, recruiting, recruiting is first and foremost the number one consideration in who we were looking for. We wanted a developer, a player developer, but not just a player developer on the field. We wanted somebody who was going to take these guys and develop them to be great men when football was done. Maybe develop them to play in the league, that's great. But when football's done, and for most people that football's done by the time they're 25, we wanted somebody that was going to have them in a position to be a great man the rest of their lives. We want somebody who had a transition plan. We're moving to a new league, different competition. And, ideally, I wanted somebody who had Big Ten experience, which we found. But we want somebody who was ready to transition us into the Big Ten and continue to win championships once we got to the Big Ten. Wanted somebody with energy, passion, enthusiasm, somebody who wasn't going to change this culture, because the culture is wonderful, but who was going to build upon it, enhance the culture that we already have. I want somebody that's going to push each and every one of us someplace we've never been pushed before. I think it's really, really important. And we wanted a winner, somebody who's been around winning and understands what winning is. And if you look at Jedd's resume, he's been around winners, like the greatest of the great professional and college coaches. He's been around winning, and then how does that translate? We wanted somebody who could take that and translate it to winning, which he's shown he could do in the league that we're in. So I didn't think we could find somebody that matched all those characteristics. I thought it was a little bit aspirational. I thought maybe we could find somebody that hit 4 of the 5 or 5 of the 6. The last Saturday afternoon, about 3 o'clock, Jedd and I had our first call. Last Saturday afternoon, I guess that was 3 whole days ago. And after that phone call, you talk about blowing your socks off, blowing the doors off, whatever it is. I hung up the phone and said, we found the guy. This is the guy that matches everything we wanted. And then it became, can we get him? And I had my second call with him about 10 o'clock Saturday night and asked if we could come down and meet with him and his family the following day in Tucson, which was yesterday? Okay, 2 days ago. My calendar's a little messed up. And then we had AK on the phone laying out what the program was, because I didn't want him to have any surprises. Everything that we knew about the program, he was going to know about the program. We flew to Tucson with my team, sat in his house, met his family, had a great conversation with the family, offered Amber the job. She accepted. Coach signed the MOU, and here we are. It went quick. From the time I first talked to Coach until the time we got on the plane was about 30 hours. But trust me, a lot of research had been done well in advance of any of this. So I thought we might have had the right guy, but when we got off the phone, I knew we had the right guy. So I'm pumped. I think everyone associated with Husky football is going to be pumped. And I know we went through a lot, and there's a lot of emotions, and they go up and down. But I will tell you, we are in a great place going forward. So at this time, what I would like to do is ask President Kause and Amber to come forward, and Jedd come down. We've got a little presentation, then I'm going to introduce to you our next head football coach. I don't need the microphone for this. Please welcome our next head football coach, Jedd Fisch.
Wow, thank you. It's a little unique. The last time I had a press conference to be a head coach, it was on Zoom during COVID. So it didn't look anything like this. And this is special. But it's also special because of where we are and who we're with and the people that are surrounding us today. The views are incredible. The building is beautiful. And being here in Seattle is awfully special. I want to start by this. Today is a special day and a culmination of 23 years of hard work. Today is a day filled of emotions, though, because it represents a new beginning. Rarely in life does one have to leave someone or something that they love. But 48 hours ago, that is something that my family and I did. We did it so we can join the Husky family. I'm excited to be part of this university. And my wife, Amber, our daughters, Ashley and Kendall, Zaylee, who's not here, are all just as excited to be a part of this vibrant community. And we want to thank you, Troy, for bringing us here. President Kelsey, thank you. Thank you for that phone call on Sunday. And I just appreciate you guys for believing in us. We are here for the W. The W for winning, the W for work, and the W for Washington. And we will give it everything we have. Sustained success is critical in college football. The ability to each and every year compete for championships. The ability for each and every year to be able to be at the top of your conference, at the top of the nation. University of Washington allows that opportunity. Our goal is to create a future that we are all proud of. This is where we want to win. And I understand that I'm going to have to earn our players' trust. I'm going to have to earn our community's trust. I'm going to have to earn our university's trust. And that's what I will take that challenge, and I accept that challenge, and I will give you everything I have to earn that trust. I understand what happened here a week ago. I know what happened in Tucson 2 days ago. And I will give it everything I have. And my wife and our kids will give it everything we have to make you believe in us, to help you believe in us, and hopefully for you to rally behind us, because we are in this thing together. And we will give it all we have every day for hopefully a very, very long time. It has been a whirlwind few days. I loved my time at U of A. I am truly grateful for the people there who believed in me and my vision on how to turn a program around and turn it into national prominence. I promised to leave the program better than I found it. We did that. We're proud of that. For that, I will always be grateful to President Robbins, to Dave Hickey, the athletic director at the University of Arizona, and the entire community. I did not take the decision to come to University of Washington lightly. But once President Kelsey and once Athletic Director Dannon showed me what is possible in Seattle and what their vision of the future looks like, there was no answer other than yes. Washington football has great history with great players. Players like Lawyer Malloy, who I've been on the field with in Seattle, Steve Entman, Jake Locker, Buda Baker, who I went against year in and year out, Vita Vey, Taylor Rapp, who I was a part of drafting when I was at the LA Rams, Isaiah Stanback, who I got to coach in Jacksonville, and Jermaine Kearse, to name a few. Washington has a great history of winning, 775 wins, 18 conference championships, 23 consensus All-Americans, 32 active NFL players, and 2 national championships. But it's not just about Washington football that brought us here. It's the #2 ranked public university in the country. And education matters. And these kids are all student athletes, regardless of what we see or hear. I chose this university because you believe that every year is a championship year. Winning in football is a priority in Seattle. And as I look out and see what's the future, and I see the potential, I don't know if Coach Carroll is here or not, but I can tell you my opportunity to work for Pete Carroll and with the Seattle Seahawks, I know how important football here is at the University of Washington. I know how important football is in Seattle. And I am so thrilled that Coach Carroll is going to be a mentor close by and ready to help. I could not be more proud to be here and to build this program together. It is the most unique situation to take over a team that just finished number 2 in the country and are 14-1. The job that was done here is fantastic, and I understand that. I recognize that. We are not going to rebuild, but we are going to reconstruct. There's a roster that has a lot of changes. There's going to be a lot of new players, a lot of new faces, new coaches, new support staff. But this team, the team that achieved some of the greatest accomplishments in all of college football, deserves a ton of credit. And for all of you that are here, please give yourselves a hand. You certainly deserve it. I was able to receive a fantastic text message last night from Coach Peterson. And I can tell you how appreciative I am and how much respect I have for him, how much respect I have for Don James. I've worked for guys like Dom Capers that work for Don James, and you hear consistently about what a special person he was. And I recognize that what's so important of all the coaches that have paced that sideline is it's about character and it's about commitment. It's about excellence. It's about doing it the right way. Universities are not defined by a coach, but by the young men in this program. In 2024, college football has changed, and we all have to recognize that. I do believe that our culture is transferable. Our culture is us. Our culture is people. You can compete with schematics, but you win with people. And that will be exactly what we preach every single day. We recognize and we will own the responsibility of putting a great product on the field. We also hope that our community recognizes and owns the importance of name, image, and likeness, and everything that goes along with putting together a fantastic roster. For 14 years, I coached in professional football around some of the brightest and greatest minds of all time and some of the greatest players that have ever played. Our program is about development. Our program is about opportunity. And we will go to extraordinary lengths to develop players, and we will go through extraordinary lengths to give those players incredible opportunity, whether it be in professional football or whether it being a professional in society. You have demonstrated a genuine commitment to me and to my family, and we will be forever grateful for that. I will show you that same commitment. I am grateful for what this will mean to the coaches who will work here. I am grateful to what this will mean for the student athletes who will play for us. We want to be the best place for all of them. Thank you to the president, to the athletic director, and all who were behind the scenes that chose me, and our vision for the program. I promise you, we will make you proud. Go Dogs.
Thank you very much, Coach. With that, we'll have a little bit of brief Q&A. This for the press only, of course. We'll keep it relatively brief as we'll have some breakout session time afterwards. So with that, any member of the press with a question for Coach or Troy, please go ahead. Mike?
Mike Farrell, Seattle Times. I'm curious, obviously you know the situation here where there's been 3 coaches in 5 years, and there's a fan base that's been taken through ups and downs and probably is wondering whether they should keep on watching, keep on buying tickets, all those things. What would your message be to a fan base that has been through a lot and is wondering how much they should commit to this program?
Well, I would start with, I think they probably enjoyed this season and saw a lot of wins. And I would say that I understand that there's always concern currently in the environment we're in about how much can we get behind one person, one coach, one situation, but they're getting behind a university. They're getting behind the team. They're getting behind the players. They're getting behind the history. So I think the greatest part of what we have here is we have a fan base that's supporting University of Washington, that's supporting the Husky Nation. And I would imagine that they loved every aspect of going 14-1. I imagine they love every aspect of winning 22 or 23 games the last 2 years. And I hope that they'll continue to support us in that same manner, recognizing that it's our job to do everything we possibly can each and every week to give a winning product.
Christian, go ahead.
Troy, I'm curious about the timeline. I mean, when did this search really start, considering when you started to find out about the possibility of Alabama and all those things?
Well, in some ways, you're in search mode every day. You never know. And so obviously that list was percolating. And, but really, when I got notification on Thursday that from Alabama that they wanted to talk to Kalen formally, we kind of went into full-bore lockdown search mode. Now, if we didn't need to hire a coach, we didn't need to hire a coach, but the exercise began at that point in time. That's when, I like to use the term lockdown, well, that's when we got in the office and just started really digging. But in some ways, and you know, and I've said this, you know, when we had an unsigned contract and we couldn't get it signed, you know, it gave me pause. And so I wanted to make sure that I was prepared if we got to this eventuality.
Aaron, go ahead.
Jedd, welcome to Seattle. Welcome back to Seattle, I should say.
Thank you.
Kind of piggybacking off of what Mike was saying, in terms of being here long-term, is this a place where you see yourself setting down your roots and being here long-term in the current environment? And given that the last person said that he did, now he's at Alabama, what would you say to that?
Right. Well, I think that's always the problem, right? You can't be right, you can't be wrong, whatever you say. I know that comment's always going to be made. Is it a destination job? I would answer it this way. The Big Ten, the SEC, right now is who's leading the football pathways. The college football landscape is about getting to the CFP. There's 12 teams that are going to compete every year, starting next year in the college football playoffs. If you look at what teams traditionally compete, it's about the same 12 or 14 teams. University of Washington is one of those 12 or 14 teams. That's why we coach. We coach to be able to take a seat at that table and to be able to give yourself a chance every single year with resources beyond belief, with an opportunity to go out there with a fan base that's dying to continue to win, that have won national championships. And the idea of staying is why you come. The idea of being here is to win championships. And that's all I can promise, that we're going to be here every single day doing everything we can to win a championship, knowing that Washington has the opportunity to do that every year.
I want to jump in. You didn't ask me, but I will. As my staff knows, I tend to do that. You know, our job, our collective job, all of us, no matter what role we have in the program, in the university, in the community, is to make UW aspirational. And that's true with faculty, that's true with researchers, it's true with students, it's true with coaches, it's true with ADs, it's true with our athletes. We want this to be aspirational in every way. And the best should seek us out. We don't control anyone's lives and what they choose to do in their lives. The best we can do is make sure that this place remains a destination location in everything we do. I told Coach, we had this exact conversation during the process, and I said, I want this to be such a good job that you don't want to leave. Hey, maybe it's a Seahawks call, right? You can go across town. But I want this to be the best job in college football. Now, how do we make it the best job in college football? And that's the challenge that the athletic department has. This is the challenge that the president has in making this the best institution for everyone.
Chris Francis, Cairo, go ahead.
Coach, Troy called you a maniacal recruiter. And I'm not sure what the exact number is, but I think there's only something like 65 guys on the roster right now. Can you describe the job you're going to have here to not only retain who's here, or maybe bring him back out of the portal? How do you describe what's ahead of you right here in this next few weeks?
Yeah, well, it's certainly an interesting situation here because I believe right now there's 17 players in the portal. From this roster, there's 9 players or 10 players that have declared for the NFL draft. You probably have the most amount of players that are going to get drafted in the NFL will probably come from the University of Washington this year's draft. So we know it's going to be a completely different football team in 2024 than what the community saw in 2023. It's our job to be able to put together the best product. And it's our job to do everything we possibly can in what has become a very strange college football calendar. The transfer portal has closed in regards to the next time it opens is in April. The early signing date has almost caused 90% of the high school students to sign early. So the availability of scholarship players is going to be interesting, to say the least. But what we have to do is we don't just recruit for 1 year. We recruit for the eternity of college football. We're going to recruit for a program that we're going to go out here tomorrow or the next day, and we're going to build a 25 class to try to make it the best possible recruiting class it could possibly be. And then we're going to see what happens over the course of these next couple weeks on hoping to retain this team the best we can. And then if there are other available players that are in the portal, then we're going to look at those as well. But what it comes down to is we want to maniacally recruit daily for as long as we are here. And we're going to recruit the 25 class, the 26 class, the 27 class, the 28 class, and continue to try to build a roster that we can all be very proud of.
Questions? Go ahead, Lars.
Yeah, Coach, building off of that, how do you view building a roster from a numbers perspective, high school transfers? Kind of how do you go about doing that? What's your philosophy on that?
Yeah, we're about development here. And what we really pride ourselves in is finding high school players and developing them. One of the issues that's happening in college football is that high school kids are being looked over because everybody's in this constant quest and the pressure of having to win this exact second. The beautiful thing of starting in day 2, of a lengthy contract is that we could find a way to build this team for sustainable success and not feel like every year you have to go find transfers to fill holes. Now, we would love to be a team that can sign 20 high school kids every year, 25 potentially, and then use what I call free agency or the transfer portal to fill in the gaps. When you've coached in the NFL for a bunch of years, you learn that you want to build your team through the draft. You don't want to build your team through free agency. You want to build your team with a mission that you can get players, develop players, keep players, retain the players, and then bring in people to help you win the championship. And that's what our goal is going to be, and that's how I envision it happening.
Kim, go ahead.
I know there's a process and things need to be finalized. It's good to see Jordan Powell back here. He was here before. Jimmy Doherty was here before. Number one, can you tell us how much input they gave to you about what's going on up here in the past? And do you have people from Arizona on your staff that you have definitely locked in that will be coming back up here with you?
Yeah, one of the things that that Troy asked me when he interviewed me is, tell me a little bit about your culture. And I said, not explainable, but transferable, and because it's all about the people that made our culture. Our coaching staff in Arizona made the culture to work at Arizona. Those people are extremely important to me. When this opportunity came up on Saturday night, Sunday morning, I spoke with Coach Doherty, Coach Carroll, Coach Powell about their experiences here, living in Seattle, coaching at UW. What does that mean? What does that look like? Tell me everything. And it's going to be our goal to be able to get all of them here and to get that crew together, stay together. We have some fantastic coaches. I hope all of them come with us here. And we're able to bring that camaraderie, the personal touch, the families all together, and I think we will.
Just a couple more. Chris Egan.
You've talked a lot about just work right now, but let's talk a little fun. Have you even thought about coming out of that tunnel and what it's going to be like in that stadium there?
Well, I haven't had much fun in this stadium, to be honest with you. So I haven't done a lot of thinking of that. We had Vita Vea give Josh Rosen a concussion on this field in 2017. That was a tough loss. Then in 2022, we had a shootout. If you can remember, it was 49-39 in that game. Tough holding penalty there. That was a tough one. But I would say this. I would say that, you do always imagine, and I have the greatest office view probably of all time. And when you look out there and you see that stadium and you see the water and you see that that every seat is going to be full, that you could just imagine, what that's going to feel like. And running out of the tunnel and what that's going to feel that very first game, the jitters of, both calling the game and running out the tunnel will be at a high end. But we're going to be excited about it and can't wait.
All right, we'll take last question from Nico Tamarian from Como.
First of all, welcome to Seattle. Just as Troy mentioned, he's always kind of monitoring the coaching landscape and seeing great coaches out there. As you've gone through your travels both in the college and pro ranks, was Washington a place always in the back of your mind? What was always your impression of Seattle and Washington specifically?
Yeah, as I went through the ranks, and each move that I made was made really for one reason: to get to a place that can win a national championship or to get to a place that could win a Super Bowl. And not everybody can. Not everybody has. And all 32 teams in the NFL can't or have shown that they can't. All 130 colleges in Division I football can't. All 64, 68 now Power 5 teams can't. So Washington can. So was it on my list in terms of a list of schools? I don't have a list of schools. There was never a list of teams. It's, is there an opportunity to win a national championship? And then if you do, can you do it again? And if you can, that's an opportunity that you can't say no to.
All right, thank you everybody for coming. Press will head over to the 80 suite for a little breakout session. Thank you again.